How's it going, everybody? I'm Ethan Estes, host of the Estes Edge, and I'm coming at you from Palermo, Sicily. Now, I'm sorry for the delay in my series. I've been traveling and I recently just graduated, but I'm back, and this time I had the pleasure of speaking with Shawn R. Smith, President and CEO of Dedicated Financial GBC. Now, we talked about approaching debt collections in a moral and ethical way, all right? We talked about the importance of giving and how to blend philanthropy into a business, well, how he's done that, I should say. We talked about the importance of good mentorship and how to start giving. Talked about risk and reward, how that making the hard decisions now can lead to an easier future. And finally, we cover some joys that he's been able to experience because of his profession. I hope you enjoy. Let's get into the video. Let me start by saying this call will be recorded for training and marketing purposes. Anyways, welcome to the Estes Edge. Hi, I'm your host, Ethan Estes. I'm a digital marketing intern at iCheckGateway.com with the goal to learn and educate about what it takes to be an entrepreneur. So here today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Shawn Smith. He is the CEO and founder of Dedicated Financial GBC. I'm really excited to have this opportunity. Shawn, how have you been doing, man?
I've been doing great, Ethan. Thanks for the honor of asking me to be on the show, and happy to connect. It's been good. Business is good. We're crushing it right now. The way the economy swings, it actually swings in our favor right now. So we're busy as ever.
That's very exciting news. So with your company, could you kind of give me some background? Like, what is the origin story of Dedicated, and how did you come to be in?
I'll do my best to answer that quickly, but basically 20 years in and out of doing debt collection. It's kind of an accidental profession, and it really didn't jive well when I became a person of faith. So I really, at the time, because I needed a job, I had to figure out a way to adapt how I treated people because it didn't line up with the way I was being coached. And so I really started to work on an ethical and moral way of doing that job. In 2010, I moved over doing strictly commercial and fell in love with it. I was dealing with small business owners who were struggling, and as someone who had always had some form of side hustle or business, I felt like I related to where they were at. And I kept getting egged on to start my own agency. And I always kind of joked that, I don't think the story of Jesus was that he moved people more into collections. He called them out of it. So I kind of didn't entertain it for a long time. And then finally it just kind of hit me that there's no one in the world that was really doing this job in a very ethical way. And it gave us an opportunity to be radically different than anyone else. And so we started off as a third-party commercial collection agency, grew into a portfolio management company for banks, leasing companies, and fintech companies. Currently service over 250 clients nationwide. And we've really grown into the people side of tech. So anywhere from customer service, third-party collections, repossession, nationwide legal and remarketing services, along with some other ancillary things like inspection, account scoring, things like that. It's kind of grown and blossomed into that.
I see. Going with a more an ethical, moral approach, as you were saying, have you seen any more benefits in the customer satisfaction or something like that? What are some benefits you've seen by going down the route of trying to have it in accordance with your faith, this newfound faith that you were talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually, I love to say that I was this super bright pioneer visionary to doing this, but I really wasn't. I saw other companies like Walgreens doing the 1-for-1, Tom's doing shoes, Newman's Own donating their profit, things like that. And I saw this purpose-driven business side of things. And I said, well, I want to do that. I want to feel good about what I'm doing and kind of double down, not just treating people well, but giving back. And what I thought would just be something that would feel good to do. I remember the first time we attached, for every deal we collected, we would donate a meal. And I remember like the first month, I think we donated like 296 meals and posted it on LinkedIn. This is when I had like 300 connections, and you know what I mean? Like I was just figuring out LinkedIn. It's like 2015.
Early days.
And that for us at the time went viral. I mean, it was thousands of views, and I remember it was like an aha moment. The market reacted to it. My team was psyched about it, and I felt great doing that. And so immediately doubled down, started donating 5 meals. Then we started donating 5 meals for every account placed. And what that ended up leading to was, one, our brand became a light in a very dark place as far as the industry goes. And so it brands that needed our service but didn't want to work with the overly aggressive, unethical folks gravitated to us. So it got us clients that we actually aligned with, that we wanted to work with, that we were ethically and morally aligned with. It bled through the whole team. So we started attracting and retaining people who cared not just about getting a paycheck, but about the mission. So our retention and our team member satisfaction was higher because they had a greater purpose to what they were doing. And ultimately, the way they were doing the job, because they cared, they were doing the job better. So our performance was higher, because normally people that are doing collections job, it's like drudgery. It is not fun work. And we've been able to do it in a way where literally world's first, we have just a hair under 1,000 5-star and a Google 5-star review. We have an industry low turnover rate. So the average turnover rate for our business is 50 to 100% year over year. Since the company's inception, we've averaged about 22%. So half of the lower average. So better clients that are sold out to our mission, better team members who are sold out to our purpose, greater retention, less money spent on hiring and retraining people, better work product, more positive. I mean, the list goes on. I was recently with Kevin O'Leary from the Shark Tank, and I asked him, I said, and I've asked the same thing to the chief marketing officer of MasterCard. I've asked the same thing to Damon John from Shark Tank. I've gotten some really cool interactions with these folks personally. And I said, outside of tech, I think that a purpose-driven business in our world is the greatest competitive advantage and opportunity. And both the Sharks said 100%, and so did the chief marketing officer for MasterCard said 100%. You look at every business, it's tied to a give back. Business is changing, and people of youth don't want to just go to work, get a paycheck, and be done, right? And so it's just so many ancillary benefits. But if I could sum it up, what you put in the ground is what grows. So if you put good in the ground, if you put good, if you do the right thing, it's what grows. And the cool thing is like, it grows whether you are doing anything. You just got to do the work to plant the crop, right? And so now Dedicated is this organic spring of growth where I have this amazing team doing all these amazing things and growing the company, and I'm just trying to steward it well at this point. Right. So it's had so many benefits. God, there's just even so many more. I mean, I got stories for days, but that's as short as I can make that answer, because it's definitely a passion of mine.
I really respect that. Yeah. There's, especially in this rising generation and the new age, it seems like the search for purpose is kind of like a very trending topic. People don't want to, as you were saying, they don't want to work to work. They want to have a reason behind it. They want to have meaning to what they're doing. So I really like that you took that moral and ethical standard and tried to raise it, and then ended up just infecting everyone within your company and even more. I really like the topic that you're saying of giving back, and I was doing some research and I saw a few of your like philanthropic ventures, such as Loaves and Fishes, Healing Haiti, and Cradle of Hope. Could you go into a little bit of detail on what it's been like trying to balance these philanthropic ventures and giving back to the community while at the same time running your company? What's it been like trying to balance that?
Yeah, so I love blending them. So we're big on metric giving. So every vertical within the company is tied to a nonprofit we work with. Everything we do, whether it be going to a conference or something like that, is tied to a give back. And I truly believe in servant leadership. I think it's the most joy to be able to serve others and to see them succeed. So like on our first party collection side, we donate 10% or more of our profit to Thorn, which was started by Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher to stop child sex trafficking and child pornography online. And they are doing amazing things. I would highly advocate someone look into Thorn, what they're doing. And then on our third party collection side, we partner with Feed My Starving Children. So every account placed, we donate 15 meals. And then we don't do every account collected now. We do every day that any team member at Dedicated works, we donate 15 meals. That's been over 1.5 million meals since the inception of
That's
that
incredible.
program. Every payment that we process, we donate to Cookies for Kids Cancer out of New York, which cancer is #1 killer of kids, yet it only receives 3% of the funding for cancer. Imagine if that was your child. So to fund that is incredibly impactful to me and the team. Our repossession remarketing team funds American Gold Star Mothers, which helps veterans and families who've lost someone in combat. And I can't think of a better place to give back than to families who's paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom to be able to thrive here in America, right? And then our legal program partners with Restavec Freedom, which slavery is still legal in Haiti. So they're literally going out and helping free and help slaves making sure they're being taken care of, making sure they're getting schooling, making sure they're being fed. There's an estimated over 300,000 child slaves just in and around Port-au-Prince and the capital of Haiti, right?
Wow.
Actually, Cap-Haïtien is the capital, but the biggest city, which is Port-au-Prince. And so blending them helps. We started for the National Equipment Finance Association. We've started a charitable committee that does fun events at conferences that give back. The last one, we raised over $26,000 for Operation Open Water to help veterans and first responders with PTSD and things that they're going through. Where the next one we're doing is going to be for those for a nonprofit that helps those fighting cancer. Right. So these are the things that just drive joy and fulfillment. And I do serve on some boards outside of that. I serve on a board for Minnesota Good Works. Minnesota, according to the FBI, is the #3 state for sex trafficking. And the people coming out of that, the recidivism rate of people getting back into it is crazy high. So they try to get out, they end up back in it. And so they're kind of filling in the gaps. Cradle of Hope is helping mothers and babies in crisis. So we do events, we have PAC for them, and so on and so forth, right? We do every quarter, we look to serve the poor, those in need locally with our time. And then Dedicated donates typically between 20 and 30+% of its profit every year to nonprofits. And we encourage our team to serve on boards, serve on councils, serve on committees, and just serve in general. And so it just bleeds through everything we do.
That's very admirable. Yeah, I like that you've instilled like a model of philanthropy into your company. That's amazing.
I'll tell you this,
On a
but it's self-serving, to be honest with you. When you help someone else in a way where they can never repay you back for that, the joy and the contentment that you'll feel from that will trump any big paycheck, any car, any house, any travel. If you truly and intrinsically help a person who had no hope and no way out, and help them live, help them survive, help them thrive in a way where they feel, I can never repay you for the gift that you've given me. The giver is always more blessed than the receiver. The joy that I feel from that lasts for decades, for a lifetime from that. You get a new car within a month, it's just your car you're driving around. You get a new house, it's exciting for a while, then it's just a nice house you live in. But when you help someone like that, you'll remember those moments for the rest of your life, and they will drive you and fulfill you in a way that material possessions and business success never will.
I've been raised with the mindset to lead by serving, so I really respect what you do, and I have dreams to be a philanthropist one day as well. So going off of that, what would you say? Oh, sorry, what you say?
I said it's a fun thing. I love to give, man.
Oh yeah, I'd love to have the same opportunity. What would you recommend for those who wouldn't have the same opportunity to instill such a big scale of um, philanthropy in their company? What's more like a smaller scale that people get involved in? Young entrepreneurs or just anyone who's viewing. What would you think would be a good first step?
Yeah, well, first is the first step before you even do anything is surrounding yourself with good mentors. I am a product of really 3 things. I'll take credit for my work ethic and my obedience to God's plans in my life. That's it. It's the only thing I can take credit for. Most of my success has come through amazing mentorship. And I had to fight, scratch, and claw to find those mentors, ask them to mentor me, and then evaluate that they actually gave me their time. Because sometimes they'll say it well, and then they don't have time for you, right? And look, people are busy. People have lives, right? So that mentorship and surrounding myself with the right people who had fruit on the tree of what I wanted to be. If you want to be a philanthropist, find philanthropists and ask them to mentor you. Because doesn't it make sense, whether it's relationally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, business, to go out and find people in your life who bear actually fruit in their life in that area? Ask them how they got it. Do what they say, and you'll have what they have, right?
Mm.
So it starts there, because the whole just going by the gut, doing my thing, you are going to learn the very hard way, and it is going to take a lot longer, and it's going to cost a lot more. Business lessons are very expensive, and they take a lot of time as well. So once you have that sphere of mentorship around you, and you have them reinforcing that you actually have a good plan, start small. Find that when I started giving with Dedicated, a meal with Feed My Starving Children was 22 cents. That's who we partner with to give. So every deal we collected, we donated 22 cents. So the first month I donated like $26. We can all figure out $26. I don't care how I had a multiple six-figure amount of debt ring around my neck, risked my entire house, my financial, everything I did to get in my early 30s to be financially stable. I risked all that to start Dedicated. I still had $26 I could give, right? And so there's kind of two types of people that want to give. There's people who say, you know what, once I make it and I'm making money, I'm going to give. I can't wait. And then there's people who feel led to give along the way, right? To help the Samaritan on the side of the road, even when it's not convenient, and even when it's a much bigger sacrifice. I'm not judging either one of those. I'm pumped whoever wants to give, whether you're a faith person or not. Givers are always going to be more blessed. But you have to decide which one you want to be. And I had someone challenge me on that, a mentor of mine. And I said, I feel led to be the one that gives along the way, even if it makes it so it takes longer for me to get to some of my financial goals, right? But what I didn't realize is that in doing that, I feel what that actually is rapidly accelerated my success and my ability to give. And I didn't realize it at the time. So start small, find a nonprofit, find something that tears at your soul. What breaks your heart and tears your soul? And find a way to give back. Even if it's like, hey, every time I sell a widget or every time I do this, I'm going to donate $1 to this nonprofit. Start somewhere. And then as you can give more, give more. And that's what I did. I started at one meal, went to 5, went to 10, went to 15. You went from 10% of our profit to 15 to 20 to 25 to 30+%. And that's just with the business. Doesn't include what my wife and I do, right? And it's contagious. And you just start small, find something that really motivates you.
I feel like personally going with the latter route you were saying of waiting till you make it and start giving. I feel like there's not enough practice to be made, and you need to be used to giving money, because once you make it, you may still have that same feeling like, oh, it's not enough. I can't give that, you know? But bringing it back, you're mentioning risk that you took in your 30s, and what did that kind of look like? Could you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah, so here I had this skill set. I did sales, I did marketing, and I did collections. Those were my three main backgrounds from ATM. High school educated, come from nothing, come from welfare, poverty. It wasn't until I moved in with my dad and my stepmom in 8th grade, who worked at the post office, that I felt like I was rich. Because before that, I was used to sponsored Christmases and figuring out how to eat at my friend's house, right? So I'm a come from nothing type of guy. And I didn't become a Christian until I was 22. So, I mean, my examples of right and wrong, and I was in a rock band. I was not raised to go out and help people or give back. I was raised to get whatever I could get my hands on, and then I typically spend it and live above my means, right? So I collections is an accidental profession, but I did really well at it. I had built a couple of marketing companies. I had one fail that I sold my half during a divorce, 25 years old. And then the second one I built, I had all of my eggs in one basket. I had a very large client, very nationally known brand, with at the time like 40 locations. Now they're in the 100, and I was about to go from 2 locations where I was making great money to 40 locations. I'm about to make it, and
Wow.
often I lose that client. So now I'm in my early 30s. I've invested a decade into building marketing companies and things like that, and I feel back to square one. I've just moved into my first house, remarried, about to start having my second child, and I've got some equity in the home. My wife has some inheritance money coming in, and it was basically like, hey, got this business plan. I think that I have a niche here that nobody else in the world is doing, and I think banks, leasing companies, fintech companies will be attracted to that. Now becomes the big risk. Now, usually all my other businesses I bootstrap, but the only way for me to do this one and do it rapidly enough where I could support now a family was to take some financial risk to scale it up quicker. And had I been more, intelligent than I am now, I would have been able to do it for half the cost, but I didn't know that then. And business lessons are extremely expensive, right? So I risked the entire equity in the house, my wife's entire inheritance, borrowed the rest of the money from friends, family, wherever I could get it. Took me about $250,000 to turn dedicated into the black and have it making money. First year I paid myself 20 grand. Second year I paid myself 36 grand. Third year, 36 grand. Fourth year I was balling out of control at 60 grand. It wasn't until my fifth year in business that I paid myself, I think, 120 grand. But at the same time, by 5 years in a business, I also paid off all that debt. So the company was debt free. I also paid off all my personal debt. So I had no mortgage, no car payments, no nothing. My wife and I live super below our means. So now all of a sudden the business gets profitable and it owes no money. And my wife and I don't owe any money. So guess what we can do? Double down on growth, keep our lifestyle low, and take it from a good company to one of the biggest in the nation at what we do. And it was because of kind of easy now, or hard, easy, hard. You make the hard decisions up front, it's going to set you up to have a lot easier life long term. But if you take that easy path right away, it makes things long term a lot harder. And so delayed gratification, which is almost non-existent in our culture today, was key. And that was mentorship. That wasn't me. I don't know. I wasn't raised with delayed gratification at all, but I had awesome mentors that reinforced that in me, that then all of a sudden I see all my friends taking trips and doing all this stuff and driving new cars. Heck, 5 years in a business, in the winter, I was driving a $300 car in a dedicated, having paralegals on my team making fun of me. I'm paying people 6-figure incomes that are in my office complaining, and I'm paying myself 36, 60 grand driving a $300 car. But not the instance now. Now I'm paying cash for cars, and I'm a car guy, so I love Now all of a sudden the rewards come in, and people go, "Oh wow!" Well, now they see the highlight reel. It's kind of like champions are recognized in the ring, but they're made in the gym. I knew that first 5 years was the gym, and the more I was in that gym, and the more I was working, without neglecting my family, I felt dedicated being home for dinner at 6:30 every night. Other than traveling for business at conferences, and you know what? When they went to bed at 9, I typically went back to work, but I didn't cut out my family. I didn't make excuses. Well, the business needs me, so I can't be home for my family. No, what's the point if you gain the whole world, but you lose your heart and soul in the process? As small business owners, entrepreneurs, hear me. Don't burn your family. I did that with my first marriage. That's as much on me as it is my ex-wife. The day after my first son was born, I was 2 hours away in Wisconsin doing business. She was still in the hospital. That's ridiculously stupid. But again, didn't have good mentorship. Didn't know what I didn't know, right? So
going off not knowing what you didn't know and all that, you said that you could have done it all for half the price of what you did originally. I mean, is there any other little bits of advice that you could go back and tell you that you wish you could go back and tell yourself, or maybe you'd have for young entrepreneurs and starting up a company?
100%. So when I started the company, the first person I brought on board, my first employee who I brought on as a president, not a bad guy, love the guy, but him and I were not equally yoked in both our faith, in our vision for the business, the way we saw doing business, things like delaying gratification, things like that. Doesn't mean I'm right or wrong. I have no hard feelings about it. But if you're going to partner with someone, you have to be on the same page. And I just knew he had a skill set and I had a skill set, and they complement each other well. So let's do it. Looking back on that, I was because I just didn't want to do all the work myself, and I didn't believe in myself. But if I could go back, I would have did it on my own, and I would have learned it on my own versus partnering with someone that I wasn't equally yoked with. That was a big lesson. I think you watch like things like Shark Tank and they say know your numbers. I had to become someone who knew every little number in the business. And I'm not that guy. I'm not Mr. Detail guy. I'm living the future. I love to talk about vision and where we're going, giving culture. That was a big one. Who you surround yourself with. I would have did a better job of hiring people that I was equally yoked with, people who were more mission oriented right away. And I think I would have started giving sooner and started giving more sooner than I even did. Those are the things that stick out when you ask that question.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. What benefits do you enjoy the most about this job?
Ever since I started the company, I've told every person I've hired, my passions are working on the strategy and vision of where the company is going, ensuring we have the best culture and benefits for our team of anyone in our industry. We do crazy things like cover unlimited chiropractic for our team and their families, cover any extra gym costs above insurance. We give extra PTO to do mission work around the world, or we also give another week of vacation for what we call compassion care. Maybe someone has COVID, or maybe someone's elderly. On top of your normal PTO, we have completely flexible schedules. We have snacks, we have free coffee, soda, right? So, benefit of why I like the job. So I'm passionate about those things. I've said, listen, I'm never going to be the micromanager CEO. I enjoy the fact that I empower my leaders. I try to be their biggest cheerleader. But I have now the flexibility in my life to work out with a trainer, have a nutritionist, I'm the head coach of my son's Little League team. And those were things that I didn't feel I could do in the beginning of the business that I'm getting to do now. And doing things like, helping team members out behind closed doors that people don't see, whether it be with things like a car, and just hooking somebody up with a used car, so they got tires, to clothes, to food, to car repairs. That stuff feels amazing. So I mean, being able to move into a philanthropist and really give back, and my wife and I love it. We still live way below our means. And I also enjoy public speaking a lot. I enjoy the lessons that I've learned speaking that to a broader audience, because I do believe I've learned a lot of hard and painful lessons that I would love to share with others and have them maybe not have to do some of those things like I did.
Sounds like, wow. You are a very impressive individual, Mr. Smith. I'm very blown away. It's been a great conversation. Thank you for all your insight and your information and taking the time to have this call with me. I believe our time's wrapping up now.
I appreciate the kind words. And honestly, I think that any good that you see in me is a representation of Christ in me and amazing people around me. And I appreciate the opportunity. It was a lot of fun sharing, and I truly hope someone listens and it helps them a lot. So thank you.
Thank you so much. All right.